going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Man Podcast. I'm your host, Amir Muhammad, of course, and today we got a stacked show as usual. We got Road to Profit on the show today, another Chicago rapper, very young, and he actually gonna spit some bars for us at the end of the program, which is gonna be really cool. Talented individual. But first, gotta say rest in peace to my guy Prince, who passed away a year ago yesterday, of this recording at least. And man, what a rough day that was back in 2016, the day of his passing. It was just complete and utter shock, especially because, I mean, I grew up on this guy. Like, my grandmother is the biggest Prince fan possibly of all time. I mean, she was wild over this guy. She was friends with the guy. And, it really hurt our family as a whole because, grandmother being the head of the family, and she loved Prince, and obviously it's passed down from generation to generation. We all love Prince, and we were all just absolutely devastated when we heard of the passing. And it was just a rough, not just day, it was a rough couple months. It took me a while personally to really wrap my mind around, someone who had been such an integral part in my life, especially on the music end of things, to be gone. Grew up on that, and now it's gone, and no more Prince, and that sucks. But his legacy lives on, of course. They played him on the radio all day. I saw a lot of people change their profile pictures, including me. I changed my profile picture on Twitter to the Prince logo. And it was just a good time to sit back and remember the music more than anything, rather than the controversy with the death and all that. Like, let's let Prince rest. Let's remember the great music he left behind, and have fun with it. And that's really what I felt the country and the world did yesterday. They enjoyed the music, and they remembered him in a positive light, and not through the controversy of the death and everything else that went with it. Whatever. Anyways, rest in peace, Prince. Sorely missed. What else is going on? So Aaron Hernandez killed himself the other day, by the way. He hung himself from a bed sheet in his prison cell. If you don't know who Aaron Hernandez is, he was the former, I believe, tight end for the New England Patriots some years ago. And he got charged with 3 murders. So Aaron Hernandez was a serial killer. And one thing I don't like about social media, certain people on social media, is that they try to justify things that just aren't justifiable or debatable at all. You know what I'm saying? They're like, people talking trash about him for murdering people, but this girl just lost her father. It's like, well, with all respect to the Aaron Hernandez family, I'm not sure how they are as people personally. I would hope that they're good, genuine people. And my thoughts and prayers go out to them for the horrific, incident that happened. But that girl lost her father when her father decided to kill 3 people. He was toast from there. So you can't blame, this is all on Aaron Hernandez at the end of the day. I don't want to come on here and be like rude or anything to the family, at least. But Aaron Hernandez, this all happened because Aaron Hernandez made selfish, diabolical choices. Period. There is no excuse for this. Aaron Hernandez decided that his family was not worth it when he decided to shoot people. It wasn't worth it when he went to jail. So, that's one thing, just one thing I'll never understand about people with money. Now, I don't know what Aaron Hernandez upbringing. I don't know if he grew up rough. I don't know if he grew up privileged. I'm not sure. But it seemed like it's a thing going on now where these celebrities or these public figures, athletes, or rappers especially such, want to be hood. People who got money. This guy lived in a mansion, had a beautiful wife, a beautiful daughter, and you out here, you killing people, you shooting people and gang banging. What is this? These are the choices you make, and you got all this money, and you play for the New England Patriots. Your teammate is the greatest football player to ever grace a football field in Tom Brady, and you willing to throw all of this away. The mansion, the beautiful family, this awesome position that you are in, being the tight end for the New England Patriots. Threw all that away to shoot somebody who was talking to some people that you didn't like. If I had that type of money, and if I was in that situation, if that guy was talking to people I didn't like, it's easy. You cut him off. You cut him off. Because trust me, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they was extorting this guy. I'm pretty sure they weren't, because he was killing people. But point being, you got to cut people off. But you made the decision to kill the dude. I don't know if this was I'm not just in the NFL dude. I'm still tough. I'm street, whatever the case may be. I don't know. The whole situation was goofy. Anyways, he killed himself. And again, nobody to blame about that but Aaron Hernandez. It's that simple. Anyways, let's get right into the interview with my guy Road to Profit right now. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the interview segment of the podcast. I got a good friend of mine, Road the Prophet, local rapper, poet, and also a co-host on our Ultimate Alliance series that we've been doing on the YouTube channel that everybody should go check out. What's going on? How we doing, Matt?
Yo, what's up, man? I'm doing good, and you?
I'm all right. And I know, man, we both been chomping at the bit. I've wanted you to come on the show for months now. You've wanted to come on the show for months now, and now we here finally. So what's been up with you? How you been? How's life? What's going on?
Well, I'm good right now, man. I mean, I've been sick lately, just like regular common cold and shit. I hate it, but, it's just life. And, I write almost every day, so... Right. That's it. Same old, same old.
So right now, the only reason we really got the opportunity to do this so early, other than your spring break, is because you are sick and you're not in school right now. So,
hell yeah.
So there you go. So first of all, let's get right into the rap game. I know you're a big you're a big hip hop not only fan, but you do it yourself. And you are also a poet, which all ties into the same realm of making music. So, first of all, tell me the influence, first of all, before we get into you. What was the influence? Was it an artist? Was it a song that made you say, hey, I want to do this, or hey, I think I could pull this off? Well, what happened?
I got to tell you, the whole story, man. So, throughout my life, as I got older, I started noticing, throughout my life, there was always, little pieces. Okay. That sort of made me interested in music. And I didn't notice that until, I was actually into it. I remember, even as a toddler or something, I'd just be interested in, the beats I would hear, how people would make them. And, how people would find a way to, say the things they said over them. And I remember, very specifically in 6th grade, it was, the first day of school. And these boys were talking. And this was September 2010, and Eminem had just dropped his album Recovery a few months before, and they were talking about it.
Was that the I Need a Doctor thing? Was that right?
It was around that time. But they were just talking about it, and they made it sound like it was the most holy thing to ever grace the ears of a human being. So I was interested as hell. I'm like, what is this? Because before that, I never really liked rap. I liked every other form of music. I didn't like rap because I felt like I couldn't understand it.
Right.
People talk too fast. So I went home and I listened to Not Afraid. And I liked it. I really liked it. Because I hadn't heard anything like that from a rapper.
Right, because, just to dab into it with Eminem, I'm not a big fan, as you know, of just rap in general. But I say with Eminem, I could see a person that doesn't necessarily like the genre could listen to Eminem because Eminem kind of ties into pop culture as well. It's
Yeah.
not, he mixes it in. But yeah, continue.
So after that, I started writing, but the funny thing was I didn't know how to tell if I was good or not. So I wasn't confident in my abilities at all. So from then on until like eighth grade, it was on and off. And during the middle of eighth grade, my boy Victor, he's like a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. That's my boy for life. He found out that I rapped. And like at the time, I was scared. Like I wasn't confident at all. Like period. Not just in my rapping abilities, but as a person, I was very awkward, so to speak. Right. So, like he found out, and I'm like, fuck, man, because Victor rapped too, and I thought he was way better than me. And he tells me, he's like, I heard you write too. I want you to bring me something tomorrow. And I'm like, fuck. So I went home. And I had done something that I never did when I wrote, which was writing about my actual life and what I felt. And I did that, and I came back the next day, and he liked it. Like, he fell in love with it from what I could tell. And from then on, I gained the confidence. Like, I started gaining confidence in myself as a person more than just rap after that interaction with them.
Right.
Because after that, like, it was just no way but up for me.
Right, it was kind of the snowball effect. You just continuously got better.
Yeah, then freshman year came, I got into high school, and like I just had it set that I got to get myself out there. I got to let people know that I rap and I'm good as fuck. Like, that was my mindset at the time. Like, I like basketball, and you know, Kobe Bryant's one of like my favorite players of all time, and you know, he has that Mamba mentality. Right. Like, he wants to kill his opponent. He wants to like kill them in every way possible. And like over the years, like I adopted that. You know, you got to have confidence in yourself, like before you do anything. So that was like the type of confidence that I had in myself. Just believe in myself, and you know, from then on, from there, you know, everything will come together.
So like you said, you kind of adopted that mentality going into high school. Now, in high school is everybody. Well, in the high school I went to, at least everybody was a rapper except me. Like, I was the only one. So with that,
it seems like.
With that mentality of yours, you coming into a high school, especially a predominantly minority high school that you go to, where music is heavy within everybody, right? And you know, most of the guys are rappers and most of the girls are singers or so. So when you coming into this school, are you fully aware that you are not going to be the only rapper? Do you know, so to speak, that there may be some people that are better than you coming in? Like, what was the mindset?
Going in, our high school was weird. Like, it was just built at the time, so there was only 2 classes: the sophomores and then the incoming freshmen, which was me. So when I went in, I didn't even think about there being any other rappers there. Like, as far as I knew, for like the first few months or first few weeks, I was the only one there that had anything to do with music.
Right. So when did it start to become competitive? Because like I could see you going in, like if somebody rapping or whatever, you probably try to slide in and maybe like, I don't know, maybe it's a reach, but like battle them or something, like at the lunch table maybe, or what was going on when the competition started to get a little heavy when it came to you?
There was these 2 kids I remember. They weren't like rappers necessarily, just 2 kids that thought I was a fluky. You know, like I was a joke. And they tried to battle me, keyword being tried. And, you know, like I fucked them up, point blank period. But that was nothing. My first real encounter with a rapper besides myself was with Enrico, who you've already interviewed.
Right, and that, I guess the audience would know him as Jay Lyric.
Yeah. So our school, like every other week on a Friday, we'd have these days called colloquium. colloquium days. And the schedule basically, it would be completely different from the rest of the week on some fuck shit, just stupid as hell for whatever reason. But we'd get out earlier, so it was all cool with me. And at the time, like my lunch period, I didn't have none of my friends in there. So I was just alone, dude. And I was like, it's like the classic case of not knowing where to sit at. So I remember I sat down somewhere, and I'm sitting at like the edge of the table, just looking around, and I see this kid a few tables away from me rapping with his friends. And I'm like, wait, whose man's is this? Like, who is this? Like, he doesn't know. I'm going to run this bitch in a few years. He don't know that, but this was going to happen. Like, that was my mindset. So I always, my freshman and sophomore years, I always carried my notebook in my backpack. So I got out my notebook and I walked over there. And I walk over there, and there's this seat, like, right by him. And I sit down. And I don't remember exactly what he said, but I imagine it's something like, who is this? So I basically introduced myself. I'm like, so were you just rapping? And Rico's like, yeah. And I just opened the notebook, and I just started saying words. I just started saying what the fuck I'd written. And at the time, you know, I said my influence was Eminem. So my raps were like about killing fucking, you know, groups of people, some weird shit like that. Luckily, I evolved from that. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's not advised. It's not advised.
It's just Eminem influence. We get it, man.
Yeah. So him and his friends were just looking at me like, oh my God, like, not only is he a good rapper, but like he's a good Mexican rapper. Like, what the fuck?
So you basically, you came to the table and you murdered Jay Lyric, basically.
I wouldn't say murdered. Like, that was my intention. I want to like make him know that I'm good as fuck.
And that's the mentality. So I mean, you do the poetry competitions and all that, but you seem real competitive from this whole interview so far. So why don't you just get into battle rapping as another hobby of yours, you know?
Well, I remember back in 8th grade, even through like high school, yeah, I've battle rapped a few times. I've won a few times. I've asked Rico to battle rap. He's rejected every single offer. But yeah, that's I have thought about it, and I think I would be good. But battle rappers just use a lot of wordplay, and that's crazy. You got to be so smart to come up with wordplay, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you gotta know when to improv. You know, you gotta be real witty. It's a lot of stuff. People don't know how hard it is to be a great battle rapper, and it's really entertaining. And the best ones, I give them all the props in the world because, man, you got to be wild, and you got to come up with new, fresh material every single day. It's not like writing records, writing songs, and coming up with songs where it's time in the middle, and you get to and you have time to work on each one precisely. It's like, no, you got to be quick, you got to be fast, you got to be impactful, like right now. You know, So shout out to all the battle rappers out there, by the way.
Yeah, y'all real.
For real. So now that we are friends, because of course everybody knows that Jay Lyric is a family member of mine, and I met you through him, and you guys have this very, very strong relationship, and that's well part and due to the genre rap music. So how did it come from you trying to really go to the lunch table and show them up to this bond that we see today? Well, what happened?
Shit. Well, after that, after I rapped to him, I think we just talked for a bit, and you know, we started talking about our favorite artists. It's funny. I asked him who his favorite artist was, and he was like, "Oh, my favorite artist will probably be Drake." And in my mind, I'm like, "Fuck, dude, I fucking hate Drake. How the fuck could you like him?"
Even now, you still hate Drake, even after.
I mean, I don't hate him because, like, I'm not gonna lie. I've like shouted the lyrics to Marvin's Room a couple of times.
Okay.
And Drake's a good artist. I'm not gonna lie. He's not for me. You know, that whole ghostwriting business. Like, I can't respect it.
Yeah, see, and me from
So
the outside looking in, because I'm not an artist by any stretch of the imagination, but when you ghostwrite, I felt like what's the big deal? But apparently,
yeah,
in the world of rap, that's massive. That's a huge you get a huge asterisk by your name. So I don't
yeah,
really call Drake an artist anymore because I feel like you kind of can't be if you're not writing these lyrics.
right,
So I simply categorize Drake as an entertainer.
yeah,
Would you agree with that?
yeah.
Entertainer more than artist, you know?
That would be the right categorization.
Right. But yeah, continue the story. So he said he liked Drake. What happened? You hate
Yeah,
Drake?
he asked me who my favorite artist was, and I said Eminem. And after that, I don't know what happened, but I know whenever I'd see him in the hallways, and I know whenever we'd have colloquium days, I'd sit with him at lunch. I'd say what's up in the hallways, and after that, it just grew. We got cool as fuck with each other. Um, our sophomore year, we started staying after school for this show that we would end up having at the end of the year, and after that, we just bonded. It was like fucking glue. It was
Right.
weird, but he's like my best friend in high school. So
Right, right.
yeah,
So to get into this like competitive poetry competitions that you guys do, how did that happen? Did you just gravitate to that because it has something to do with lyricism? Was it just something to get you out the house? Because you guys are really good, by the way. I've seen
thank you,
all of you, and it's ridiculous. And maybe I could post some of that when we do the promo for this podcast. But
thank you.
yeah, no problem. But so how did you get into that? What happened?
Well, our junior year, this guy from Louder Than a Bomb came up to the school, and my old English teacher from sophomore year, she came up to me. She pulled me out of class, I think, and she was like, "Today at lunch, this guy is gonna ask people to come up to rap or do poetry, and I know like you're really into that. So if you want to come up and perform to the lunchroom, feel free." And I'm always down to like present my work. So I came up, I killed it, and I told Rico about it, and we just ended up going there, and we ended up going to competitions, and we killed it.
And yeah, I can tell. So how does this work technically for the people who wouldn't know about this? So it's basically this competition. You get all the high schools together, and what is it like a
Yeah.
team of like 4 or 5 kids?
It's a team of 4 people, and those 4 people have to compromise is that the word I'm looking for? Compromise or comprise? I don't know. Those 4 people have to like make a group piece, you know. So that could range to like different types of social issues, like to literally anything. You can make a group piece about anything.
Right. And tell the fans about the time you guys got robbed in the competition. It was one of the most hilarious stories I've ever been told. What is it?
Oh, which
I think Jalen and Jacoby told me that some other kids from another school won, but the fans, like the audience and the crowd, were like going the most nuts over you guys. So tell us about that story and how you guys got robbed at the poetry
oh
competition.
man, I forgot about the other kids and their piece, but I know our piece. I hope I know exactly which one you're talking about because we've gotten robbed quite a few times.
Really? All right. Well, tell us one of
Yeah,
the stories that you remember about you getting robbed, because
I've got to tell you this year. Um, oh, it's not the group as a whole, but it's my piece specifically. Um, I remember we had our competitions on a Friday and a Saturday, like back to back. And the Friday that I went, I was really nervous. Like I don't get nervous because I'm confident in my work. But today I was just like really, really nervous. And when I went up, I killed it. Like it was crazy. Like I felt so connected with the crowd, and that was probably the best I've ever felt while performing. And I think they score you from a 1 to a 10, and I think I ended up getting 4 tens and a 9. I want to say, and I was happy with that. So the next day I was like, all right, I just got to do better today, and maybe I'll get all tens. Dude, I went up and I performed better and I didn't get a single 10. I got all 9s and 8s. And this next girl went up, and she did a poem on body image. Okay. And I'm like, all right, her poem's all right, but she's not going to get a couple 10s? Bro, she got 3 10s and, like, 2 9s. I was mad as fuck, because, like, I get it, I respect it, but I feel like my poem was just more real. Like, my poem was, I wrote it from the perspective of some people that I've known throughout my life. And, you know, these people were not the best people, you know, but, you know, they were out in the streets of gangbanging, drug dealing, shit like that. So I wrote it from their perspective. And in the poem, I was basically showcasing that they have regrets. You know, they want to do better, but unfortunately, they feel like their time's running out. Like, they feel like they're going to die.
Right.
Something bad is going to happen to them. And I feel like I put my all into that. But, you know, it happens. You know, I get it now.
Have you guys ever won?
We've won, but we haven't won all the way.
Okay, right. So I guess do you guys have one more opportunity before you graduate, or is it about over?
It's about over, man.
It's about over?
That's over. That ship is sailed. It's over, man. But, you know, the girl who did the body image poem, I hope she won. I hope she got something out of it. I'm rooting for her.
Shout out to the girl with the body image poem.
Shout out to her.
But, okay, so let's talk real quick. I just want to get into it real quick about the first time I actually had a conversation with you. Right. We got this group chat that we've been having for about, what, a year and a half now?
I mean, I got into it. I think I got into it around November.
Right. Maybe. You got into it several months ago. So it's usually Jalen, J Lyric, my guy Jaquil, one of my best friends, and I think we had a couple more people that end up leaving, like whoever. I forgot who anyways. And then Jalen brought you in. I remember the first time we had a conversation, it was, I know it wasn't November, because it had to be before the NBA season started, because that's what we talked about. And you
man, I know, I think it was one time in the summer, Rico called me and he's like, yo, I got 2 friends who want to play 2K, you down? And
oh, right, yeah. Okay, that wasn't the first time I talked to you, because we played 2K beforehand.
Yeah, we hopped on a park, and y'all found out I was a low-key shooter, and I didn't know I could shoot, so it was all
good. Right. But we didn't really get tight until the group chat. We just consistently started talking to each other every day, and the first thing we talked about was basketball. I got a love for the game. You got a love for the game. And you instantly was like, oh, Russell Westbrook going to be MVP this season. I was like, I was just like, no. Gonna be a 6 seed, 7 seed, 6 seed, 7 seed, can never win MVPs no matter how the stats looking. And, you know, you was like, oh, you're gonna get a triple-double this season, which he's averaging right now. But I mean, honestly, like, I gotta ask you, do you still believe Russell Westbrook should be MVP? I still remain the same. 6 seeds that doesn't indicate the best player in the world to me. No.
Well, by definition, MVP is most valuable player. It's not like best player in the world. So when you break down the term most valuable, that's like who is it the most important? You know.
And this is always the excuse you get. Well, I mean, it's valuable. Like if you take if you take him away from the Thunder, then the Thunder would be a lottery pick and all of that. No, Matthew, you are a smart basketball fan. You know you have to be the 1 or 2 on either side to even be a contender.
Yeah. But look, they're not gonna win a championship. It's not gonna happen. But at the very least, I'm split on it now. At the beginning of the season, I don't know if I was bullshitting or not. I don't know what the fuck I be on sometimes. But now I could tell you for a fact I'm split on it. Like, Russell, he's having a hell of a season.
He is.
He's averaging, 31, 10, and 10. Like, that's incredible. But then James Harden, he's out here with, 28, 12-8, something like that.
Exactly.
The Rockets are like what, the second or the third? No,
I believe
definitely
they third.
Yeah, I think if anything, it has to go to Harden because they're the third seed. But it would be hella controversial if Russell doesn't get it, just because there's all this hype around.
See, I don't believe so because that's the way the game has always been played.
Yeah,
what six seed has ever won the MVP award? You know.
I mean, you're right about that, but like, this is the first time this is happening. Like, this is a once in a lifetime occurrence. Like, the last time this happened, this was like when, in like the 70s?
Oscar Robertson.
Yeah. That's, what the hell, man? That's like, that's years and years ago. Like,
see, but then again, I'm still in that mindset of it's W's over stats. I will much rather win games than get a triple double. That's just me. And I feel like some people, when it comes to Westbrook, because Westbrook is adored in the NBA community. Westbrook is beyond loved when it comes to hardcore basketball fans. You know,
I want to say that like I have like some sort of spiritual connection with them. Like, that sounds weird. That sounds weird as hell. But like 2010, 2011, Derrick Rose was like the man. You know, he was unfuckwittable. And, of course, we got fucked up in the Eastern Conference Finals by LeBron and the Heat.
Right.
But, you know, like, Derrick Rose was the player that got me into the NBA. You know, he was the one that made me, like, fall in love with the game of basketball, so to speak.
Right.
Like, after he got injured, after he tore his ACL, I just walked away from every sport. I stopped watching every sport, dude, because I couldn't take that pain. So I feel like Russell Westbrook is what Derrick Rose would have been had he never gotten injured. So, like, that's why I hold, like, Russell holds a place in my heart somewhere, you know?
Right.
I don't know. I think that's why, like, I argue for him in his favor.
See, and another thing I just want to point out, this, okay, the whole season, right? I've been touting out how good the Thunder as a team is, not just Russell Westbrook, because I think even though Kevin Durant left, and that's a massive hit on the roster, sure, but you still got those big men are incredible. Steven Adams, Ernest Canton, you done threw Taj Gibson in now. We know he is a hustler. You got Doug McDermott, who was a monster in college, not so much the NBA. But I feel like on the Thunder, if Russ, you know, played with his team a little more, I think Doug McDermott could be exceptional. We all know how good Oladipo is. Roberson, not too much.
He's good on defense. But he's very good defensively.
Okay, but, you know, can't really score. You know, at least you're good. You know, defense wins games. But, you know, we get it. But point being, this team is not bad. That's what I'm trying to say. And people act like, you know, this team is awful and he out there playing by himself, and that's not the case at all. If it was, you know, he wouldn't be averaging 10 assists a game. But let me ask you this question. Whose team is better? Because personally, I feel like the Thunder's team is better than that Rockets team, and the Rockets have a higher seed. Because who do the Rockets have? Pat Beverly, who is I would love to have Pat Beverly on my team if I was a coach. That dude is a hustler, plays defense like crazy, can do just about everything except dunk. And Trevor Ariza, a former champion, but aging a little bit. Eric Gordon, who I've never really been too high on. I'm not a fan. I feel like not only do the Rockets have a worse team, but they have the higher seed. So at this point, I would give it to James Harden. But I think it's a toss-up. It's going to be either Kawhi or James Harden. It's really pick your poison on either two at this point. They may even try to do the co-MVP thing, which I think is kind of corny.
I don't think they would do that.
But would you agree that the Rockets team is actually worse than the Thunder's team?
I'm split on it again because the Rockets have Lou Williams, and like I fuck with Lou Williams.
Yeah, but he just came. It was already a third seed when he got there.
Yeah, but I feel like say you remove Harden and Westbrook from their respective teams, I think the Rockets would have the better team. I think maybe they're better coached. That's just how I feel. I feel like maybe the Rockets are better, but we'll have to see.
We'll have to see.
Who gets farther in the playoffs? That's what I'll base it off of.
But back to the music real quick. I just wanted to dive into basketball because it get heated about basketball.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some projects. Have you ever released any projects? Because we know Jay Lyric doesn't.
Oh my God, the shade.
Has Road to Profit released any music?
Yeah, I've released a lot of songs on my SoundCloud. Road the Prophet, ROTHAPROPHET. You know,
right.
If you want to look that up. But as of late, I haven't released anything. Not because I've stopped writing, but because really I've come at like I don't want to say crossroads, but like sort of the ending of a chapter and the beginning of a chapter, I want to say.
And what would the beginning of this new chapter be?
The beginning of this new chapter would be me like finding who I am in terms of being like an artist. You know, one of my old teachers from last year, Mr. Burgeon, he's real as fuck. For the kids that go to my school, they know him. He left, but I remember before he left, he asked me, he was just asking me about my music, how I was doing with it. And one of the days that was leading up to the day that he left, he asked me to stay at their school, and I stayed, and I showed him my music. And I was thinking he was going to tell me, he was like, wow, man, you're great. You really have a future in this. Like, you're going to be something amazing. You're going to inspire people. Right. Nope.
He gave you the complete opposite?
Not the complete opposite. He just gave it to me and told me, like, how it is. He told me. He listened to my music, and he was like, you're really good. You know, you're great, and you can have a future in this, but here's the problem that I see. And I go, what, Mr. Bergen? What's the problem with me? Because I think I'm perfect. That was my mindset at the time. You know, I think I'm perfect with this. No.
Right. And
nobody's perfect at no one's perfect at anything, for those of you listening at home. But he goes, you have to find your style. You have to find who you want to be in terms of a rapper, you know? And for a while, those words stuck with me. And for a while, I had no idea what that meant. Like, I was confused as fuck. Like, when he told me that, my face was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, what the fuck you mean? Like, what is this? And over time, like, I've learned that means I gotta, like, see what I want my music to be about. I gotta see what type of impact is my music gonna leave on the listener. You know, stuff like that. What's it gonna make you want to do? What's it gonna make you feel like? And around that time, I got really into J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar. For like the longest, I slept on Kendrick. You know, Enrico tried getting me into him, but I couldn't do it. Something about Kendrick just I didn't like it for some reason.
I didn't like it I didn't like the start of it, the Section 80 and all that. Like, I wasn't into it either.
Yeah. So, after Bergen left, we basically had like a sub for the rest of the year. So this was a computer class that he would teach. So we would always have the computers at our disposal since we'd have the sub. So one day, you know, I'm in class. We're not doing anything because that's what the fuck you do when you have a sub at CPS schools. So I turn on the computer and I'm like, you know what? Let me go listen to Kendrick. And I just listened to whatever song, and I stumbled on the song Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst. And the song is basically told from 3 different perspectives, and then it's followed by a skit. And the first perspective is from this guy that Kendrick knew. And the guy, he used to be, I believe he was brothers with someone else that Kendrick knew, and that person died. And the person is basically telling Kendrick, you know, I'm going to die soon as well, but I appreciate everything you've done for me. I know you love my brother like he was your brother, and that's real as fuck.
Right.
And at the end of the first verse, it gave me chills because he says, what does he say? He basically says something, when your album drops, I hope and then it cuts off because he gets shot. You hear 3 gunshots, and he's presumed dead, basically. And that hit me first because I'm like, wow, like, I'm growing up in a city where, like, there's people like this. There's people that feel like this. There's people that know people like this.
Right.
And the next verse is sort of like a sequel to a song that he had before called Keisha's Song. And that song is similar to Brenda's Got a Baby. Keisha is basically like a prostitute, and at the end of the song, she dies. And Kendrick ended up, making a song about it. And in the second verse, Keisha's sister is speaking, saying, why would you put her business out there? Like, I fucking hate you. Like, I don't need you out here. I don't need you out here, trying to give hope. I don't need you. That's basically what she's saying. Right. And then the third verse is Kendrick himself. He's just talking about how he feels, and like that song hit me, man. Like the first time I heard it, I wanted to like cry because like that was the realest song. That's probably the realest song I've ever heard in my life.
Right, great storytelling from what it sounds like. It sounds like a movie.
It's amazing.
Right. So
after that is followed by a skit called "I'm Dying of Thirst," and the whole album is a concept album, so like it's all skits, and the skit is basically it's wild, It's the characters are basically saying like, I'm tired of running, I'm tired of this shit, I'm tired of always killing each other, shit like that. Like that hit me because like in Chicago, that's what's happening right now. People are killing each other over dirty streets. Like that's really what we're killing each other over, dirty streets.
Right.
When you break it down. Dirty fucking streets.
Basically.
Dirty fucking streets, my boy. Like, what the fuck is that dirty ass street gonna be worth to you in 40 years? What the fuck?
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
So when it come to your music, when it come to the actual songs, what's the one song that you feel is the best among them all?
Oh man, that I've made.
That you've made, yeah.
I have this one song. It's one of the last songs that I dropped. It was called "Sing About Me."
Okay.
After hearing the Kendrick song, like it hit me that much. Just hearing about it and hearing what he said. So the beat hit me the most because like I really fucked with it. It hit me in my heart. And at the time, I was sort of dealing with something. I didn't feel like myself, so to speak. And damn, I'm trying to find a way to say this without sounding like a bitch. But at the time, I had like this thing with somebody, and it didn't work out how I wanted it to, and I was a little mad about it. Not sad. I don't get sad.
Right.
But I was pissed. I was like, man, fuck. Like, what do I do now, basically? And after hearing "Sing About Me," I just played the beat, and I ended up writing to it. And I wrote it from 2 different perspectives: the girl and myself. And the girl's basically the first perspective. The first verse of the song is her basically saying like, "I miss you," shit like that. Like shit happens, but I miss you. And then at the end of the song, you hear the 3 gunshots that you hear originally in the Kendrick song. And after that, like that signifies something to me. So on the second verse, like she comes back completely different. She's saying shit like, "I hate you." Like, "You're the worst." Like, "Maybe I care for you now, but I hate you." Like,
right.
Shit like that. And then in the third verse, I'm saying some things in response to what she said, but I'm also saying how I felt at the time. Like, at the time, I didn't sleep well for like a while during that time. Right. Like, there were some days where I'd sleep like 4 hours only. Like, I don't know if that's a lot of time, but it was like little as hell to me. Like, right. I'm a very good sleeper.
If you know Matt, you know how well Matt sleeps.
I'll be in bed by 9:30. Fuck that staying up late shit. That's just too much, man. I'm like an old man. But yeah, I wasn't sleeping very much. So I don't know. I don't know if I was paranoid. I don't know what the fuck was going on. But I remember a verse that I had, and it was like, "And no, I never sleep because sleep and death are related." Some shit like that. And, you know, I try to parallel it. I try to make it similar to Kendrick's third verse. But that third verse on my song is basically me just like expressing myself, how I felt.
Right. Okay. And okay, so before we get up out of here, because we are running very long at this point, but it's a good interview. Oh, yeah. Right, I didn't even peep until right now.
So like 20 minutes.
So since you love to show what you got, let us get some bars for the Big Mirror podcast real quick.
Oh man, oh I got you.
Might as well. This is not Sway in the morning, people. I promise you, but.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, no.
Should have brought my notebook, man. I knew you were gonna ask me.
I was like, you might as well. I mean, hey, you know, Mamba mentality. You confident? I figure you might as well call you out on it real quick. Why not, right?
So this poem is called "The Cycle on 79th." You know, a lot of bad shit happens around. Not a lot of bad shit, but some bad shit happens around here, so to speak. So here it goes. Fascinated by bullets, mind stuck inside a knot. Fear that I'll be staying dead for long and not a lot. My time is running out. Did some bad things on account of the block. Ran my street for forever and selling loud was my niche. Said you broke, let's hit a lick. And we selling dimes and dubs. Get you nicked with nines and slugs, you ain't shit. Yeah, that's what my mama told me. In my mind, I'm pissed, so I dipped and gripped the 40 out the house. Down the block, I started banging with my homies. Really wish I didn't, I know. Trapped inside the cycle in a city full of psychos. Violent in my city, so I chill and sit my nine close. Grew up so confused, selling rock like they was jewels. Victim of the system, sad to say I was a mule. Who am I? I'm a lie and a thief. And I've ruined people's lives with my time in the streets. Look inside my eyes, you see crime and deceit. I feel death stepping closer, my mind in its reach. That's why I'm calling you so late, cause I feel my stars falling. I just want to conversate about our memories. Please promise you'll remember me. They'll say I was too young, but everybody dies eventually. When you're at my funeral, don't cry when I die. Cause begging in these streets is like assisted suicide. Started banging at 11, lost virginity at 12. Grew up way too fast, destiny inside a cell, so I'd sell. You know my life and it was hell. Homeless as a toddler, father left us somewhere else. So we relate on the fact that we never knew our pops. You like Toop and Toop, but then the likenesses had stopped as soon as high school rolled around. You was good and I was not. Plus you started rapping, I started begging on blocks. Started dealing daily and for a minute I loved it. Money coming quick, customers until the sunset. We try to reconnect, but my attitude like fuck it. We started talking bars, but you meant a different subject. If hell is hot, the earth is cold, and heaven must be better than the previous he has shown. I try to bring you with me, try to bring you down so slow. Try to ask what I was thinking, to be honest, I don't know. I was a fool, doing nothing, wasting all the time at school. Holding guns, chasing honeys, thinking I was making moves, but I wasn't. If I die, then make it for me. Seen way too many homies lying, coughing with no glory. Make me live for something, write a song and tell my story. Hit me back before I'm gone and God is taking inventory on my life. Don't like to lie, I ain't the type. My homies dead and gone, they forgotten day and night. If I die before my time, make sure my mother be alright. Be like a father to my brother, keep my sister in your sights. Visit me at cemetery, put some flowers over tomb. Try to keep me company so I won't ever be alone while I'm dead. Sad to say I'll be in hell. I did more bad than good. These the cards that I've been dealt.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Roll the Prophet, thank you very much for the interview, man.
Thank you.
All right, great interview with my guy, Roll the Prophet. Make sure you keep tabs on him. He'll be something special very soon. But to continue, as we all know, my favorite time of the year, the NBA playoffs are underway. And let me give you some predictions. So I did the whole bracket on Facebook. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you more than likely already saw this already. But I did the NBA playoff predictions. I did every team, every round going up to the championship. Well, I predicted that and the finals MVP. So let's get into the Western Conference first round. I had the Warriors defeating the Trailblazers 4-0. I do believe the Warriors out 2-0 right now. I was actually wrong about this next one. The Spurs defeating the Grizzlies 4-0. The Grizzlies actually pulled one off the other night against the Spurs, so good for them. But I doubt they'll win another game. I had got the Rockets defeating the Thunder 4-2. It's actually 2-1 right now, so I'm on track with that one. I got the Jazz defeating the Clippers 4-3. Man, they're having some crazy games. The Clippers are up 2-1. Blake Griffin just got hurt, actually. What's new? Not surprised. And again, that could cost the Clippers heavily in the playoffs for the, 5th year in a row or something, whatever the case may be. But anyways, that would be the first round. So I would have had Warriors, Spurs, Rockets, and Jazz advance into that second round. And in the Eastern Conference, I got the Celtics beating my Bulls 4-2, sadly. Surprisingly, the Bulls won the first 2 games, and I hope they can keep it up and eliminate them, and we can make it to a second round. That would be awesome. I feel like we are already overachieving by taking those first 2 games because I had no faith in this team, to be quite frank with you. From the beginning of this, from when they just started playing like trash, and we got like an 11 to maybe 13 brand new players on the team. So obviously chemistry is a major issue with this team. So I had us losing, honestly, but you know, they proven me wrong so far. They won 2 games, very impressive first 2 games, and they got blown out last night by the Celtics. Hopefully the morale isn't down. Hopefully the Bulls can come back and eliminate these guys and go to the second round. Anyways, I'd be having the Cavaliers defeating the Pacers 4-0, excuse me. They are up 3-0 currently, and they'll be playing tomorrow. So I'm on track with that so far. I got the Bucks defeating the Raptors 4-3. They're having some pretty good games too. That first, I can't remember which game was really good. I think it was the first game though. And after that, the Raptors beat them the next game. And that third game, the Bucks absolutely destroyed the Raptors. I was at work, and my coworker was checking scores. Like, the Bucks are up by like 30 in the second quarter. We turned to it, and we was like, wow, the Bucks are killing these guys. So Raptors, step it up. Like, honestly, great regular season team, but when you get to the playoffs, you act like you never played basketball before. Step it up. You're better than this. Prove me wrong. I do have the Bucks beating them 4-3. Currently, the Bucks are up 2-1, so I'm on track with that one as well. I got the Wizards beating the Hawks 4-2. I believe the Wizards are up 2-1 as well, so I'm on track with that one. So in the East, I will have the Celtics, Cavs, Bucks, and Wizards going to the second round. All right, let's go to the second round in the Western Conference. I would have the Warriors defeating the Jazz 4-1, the Spurs beating the Rockets 4-3. Go to the Eastern Conference second round, and I would have had the Celtics defeating the Wizards 4-3, and I'm actually excited to see that if it happens, if the Celtics can make it past the Bulls. I would love to see that matchup. I think it'll be very entertaining, especially with 2 teams that kind of got similar styles in a way. But I will have the Celtics defeating the Wizards 4-3, and I will have the Cavaliers defeating the Bucks in the Eastern Conference, or that second round, I should say, 4-1. Then we get to the conference finals, where I will have the Warriors defeating the Spurs 4-3, and I'll have the Cavaliers defeating the Celtics 4-1. You know what that means? This leads into the NBA Finals. The Warriors versus the Cavaliers. I am having the Warriors beat them in 7. I think the Warriors, man, ain't no way in hell you could lose with this squad that they got. I know KD went out with a calf strain, injury, or something like that. He just resting, really. I mean, it was an excuse to rest him because he was just playing at a quality level the game beforehand. So they was just like, whatever, rest KD. And the Warriors are killing without him. It doesn't matter. The team is just stacked. It's a well-oiled machine. Those guys have chemistry. They love playing with each other. They always give it to the hot hand. Whoever's hot gets the ball. That's how they play. And it's unselfish. And the Cavaliers also very unselfish, but that, you know, for the first time, LeBron is going against a team that is more stacked than his. Well, first time in a long time, I should say. So I do got them going to 7. I think, again, it'll be a wild, crazy series full of great basketball. But I got the Warriors winning, and I got my finals MVP. Surprised or not, Klay Thompson. That dude, Klay Thompson, I feel like if he could get hit in an NBA, get hot, in the NBA Finals, it'll be something lethal. It'll be something unstoppable. And he ain't afraid to shoot. If you watch Klay Thompson play ball, that dude doesn't pass. He don't dribble. As soon as he get his hands on the ball, it is going to the rim, period. I think if he could get hot like that, he's a quick scorer. If he can get hot and do his thing, then it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to stop the Warriors on top of KD and Steph and Draymond and Jaja and all these other guys. Sean Livingston coming off the bench, cooking people with that mid-range jump shot in his defense. The Warriors are too stacked to lose, and it's just that simple. And if they do lose, again, man, you thought last year was a flop when they went 73-9, but they still had the same team. They were just a well-oiled machine. It wasn't a super team. You have Kevin Durant, who's a top 5 player in the world, with Steph and this well-oiled machine that's built around them. You can't top this. You can't top this team. I do believe that, like I said, 4-3. I believe the Cavaliers are gonna fight and they're gonna play their asses off, but this lineup will be just a little too much. Hopefully nobody gets hurt so we can see both lineups completely healthy so we get the best basketball possible. That would be it. I'll have the Warriors winning, period. Anyways, go back and check out all the other videos like my Ultimate Alliance stuff. I think I made a football video recently of Jay Cutler getting released and all that. All the filler videos in between the podcasts. And of course, if you haven't checked the rest of the podcasts out, go back and check those out and follow me on all social media at AmilY2J. I still need to change that name before Y2J sues me. Other than that, this has been the Big Man Podcast. I'm out.